I call Paul Foster-Bell.
Mr Speaker, I rise to unequivocally support the Prohibition of Gang Insignia on Government Premises Bill in the name of my colleague Mark Mitchell, the Member of Parliament for Rodney. I want to pay tribute for the work which Mark has put into shepherding this bill through the House, and it has been interesting for me as a new member to see how he has applied his previous experience as a police officer to inform a very constructive contribution which he has made during the debates on this bill. I should also acknowledge Mike Sabin, the member for Northland. It's so great to see members using their practical, real-world experience in law enforcement and supporting our communities at the front line, which is something which perhaps members on the other side may know a little bit less about. But they're using their practical experience to improve the law, which deals with some of the most destructive, unpleasant and violent entities in New Zealand. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the Honourable Todd McClay, who originally introduced this member's bill to the House and whose stewardship of this legislation was interrupted only by his elevation to the Executive. Sir, I am delighted to support this bill because it puts the rights of the majority of law-abiding, respectful and good citizens of our beautiful country ahead of those of the tiny, hardcore criminal minority who terrorise with both their offending as well as their reputation. And it is the reputation in particular of these gangs which this bill seeks to neutralise. This bill strikes the right balance, in my view, sir, between protecting the public in a practicable way while not going so far as to create unintended consequences or counterproductive situations. For instance, with gang patches, that is the signs, symbols and representations used to commonly denote membership or affiliation with a criminal gang, these will not be allowed on the premises or grounds of our public service departments, courthouses, police stations, local authority offices and schools. But there is a specific exclusion for housing New Zealand residential dwellings, so the line has been drawn, in my view, in a very sensible place, and we will not see families ejected from their state homes because of admittedly ill-advised associations with the gangs. Similarly, tattoos or non-removable insignia are not included as grounds for banning under this bill. So those with permanent marks of gang affiliation, perhaps as a result of stupid decisions made in their youth, while they may be stigmatised by society, they are not going to be anathematised for life from setting foot on government premises. And one has to hope that they take the opportunity which this exception provides for to visit a public hospital, the very fine public hospitals we have in this country, and have their gang tattoos removed by laser treatment so they can rejoin decent society. So I want to focus on one particular element of the bill, and that is the ban on gang insignia in schools and preschools. I support a ban on gang insignia in all governmental premises in general, but I especially endorse the banning of gang insignia in schools and educational institutions. I single these places out, sir, because it is crucial that the rangatahi, the young people who represent the future of our country, are protected as much as possible from falling under the dark thrall of the gangs. In those areas where gangs are present, it is crucial that we take a strong and determined approach to crack down on gang culture and all it represents: the lawlessness, violence, disrespect of other people, the ill treatment of women and children, the trade in narcotics and people trafficking, not even to mention the more petty but still harmful activities which gangs perpetrate, and prevent these ills being visited upon the next generation of young Kiwis. Unlike the other parties, with the exception of those that are supporting this bill, and I acknowledge the member Richard Prosser for his passionate speech in favour of this legislation, but unlike the opposition, I believe if one single person is diverted, one single child is taken away from a wasted life of crime in the malevolent criminal underbelly of this country by this bill,